This week's parasha, Parashat Behaalotecha, is to me one of the deepest parashiot in the whole Torah. There's so much in this parasha to go into. There's so many connections between each pasuk, even though on the surface it seems like many different stories together, but there's a lot of deep stuff going on in this parasha. About 5 years ago, I was sitting in a class of Rabbi Khan with the students, and I just heard something. I heard this idea that was so powerful that it actually changed the way I look at the whole Torah. So I want to share it with you guys. And this week's parasha, 6th Aliyah, has what's known as the Nunin Hafuchin, the backwards Nun, the hint to the Shaar Nun. Okay, so what does that mean? So if you open up to parasha, Perek Yud, Pasuk Lamed Hey, this is the beginning of the 6th Aliyah. We have two famous Pasukim we all know. We say it when we take out the Torah, and we put it when we bring the Torah back. Vahi bin so Aaron, Vayom Moshe, Kuma Adonai, Vayafutz Oivecha, Vayenusu Misanecha Mipanecha. We open the ark and we read this Pasuk on a weekly basis. When the ark, Vahi bin so Aaron, when the ark would move, Vayom Moshe would say, Kuma Adonai, Vayafutz Oivecha, Hashem, arise, and scatter the enemies, Vayenusu misanecha mipanecha, and let those that hate flee, run away. Uvnucha yomar, and when the ark comes to a rest, Uvnucha yomar, Shuva Adonai berevot alfei Yisrael, either return God to the myriads of the Jewish people, or Hashem return the myriads of the Jewish people back. Those two psukim, famous psukim that we read every single week, Monday, Thursday, Shabbat. But if you look closely at the Torah, there are two symbols, two simanim, two nekud, the Gemarot, the Midrashim call it different things. We call them the backwards nuns, because if you look closely at Sefer Torah, before the start of Vahi bin Zoah, there's the letter nun, but it's backwards. And after the second pasuk, V'nucha Yomar, there's another backwards nun, as if it looks like two brackets, two parentheses in the middle of the Torah, bringing in these two pasukim. So what's going on with these pesukim, with these brackets? What's going on with these backward nuns? The Gemara in Shabbat, Daf Kuf Tet Vav, and the start of Kuf Tet Vav, Amud Bet, Kuf Tet Zayin, Amud Aleph, brings down the following explanation. Rashi quotes the first one. He gives two explanations. We'll start with the first, with what Rashi brings down in our Chumash. Says the Gemara, Tanu Rabbanan, Vayi bin Saron v'Yom Moshe. Parasha zo asala HaKadosh Baruch Hu simaniot milamala ulemata. This parasha, this section, these two pesukim, these 85 letters, Hashem made special simanim, special signs before and after. Why? Lomar she'ein ze mekoma. To tell you that this is not the proper place for these two pesukim. Rather, they should be somewhere else. And Rashi on the Gemara, Rashi by Asan Chumash as well, says, and where should these pesukim be? So really, the pesukim should be much earlier in the book of Bamidbar, when we spoke about the Degalim. We spoke about the different flags. We spoke about how to arrange the Jewish people, where the tribe of Yehuda is, where the tribe of Reuven is, where everybody is, where the Aaron goes, with the Levi'im in the middle. That's where this parasha should be, because after it discusses how to organize everybody, then it should tell you, Vahi bin Aaron, and when the ark moved, this is how it moved. That's the proper place. And this works out perfectly, says the Riva, if you actually count back 50 parashiot, 50 sections, not a full parsha, but a parsha meaning a section of like a topic in the Torah. You know, you have like the different tabs in the Torah, the spaces. So you count back 50 of those, you're going to get to the right spot in the Degalim for where Vahi bin Aaron is. And actually, I saw one commentator says it's 49, but if you include this parsha, it becomes 50. You can do the count yourself. But it works out perfectly because this backwards nun is gematria 50, so it's hinting to you to go back 50 parshas, and that's the actual spot where Vahi bin Aaron is supposed to be. So the question is, so then why is it written over here? Why was it fast forward 50 parshas? Says Rashi, in order to break up the puraniot, in order to break up the catastrophes, the calamities, the different sins of the Jewish people. Because if you look right after Vahi bin Aaron, we have two terrible tragedies that take place, two terrible stories. First, you have the story of the Mitonenim, the story of the complainers, that the Jewish people came out to Moshe Rabbeinu, they start complaining, and a fire breaks out, and a bunch of them die. And then we have the second story right afterwards of the Asafsuf, the people that gather together, the riffraff who complain that they want meat, they want to eat things, and there's a whole story over there. What do they want meat for? They have a lot of cattle. They also have the man, which is delicious, that could taste like anything. So what kind of desires are they doing for? But these terrible stories of the sins of the Jewish people. And comes along the Ramban, Nachmanides, and says actually it was 3 sins, because we said if we want to break up the sins, we need an earlier sin. So says the Ramban, what was the earlier sin? And actually this is also found in the Yerushalmi, Ta'anit, Perek Daled, Halacha Hey, and says the Ramban as well by us. What was the first sin? The first sin was the Pesukim, right before Vayibin Saron. If you go back 2 Pesukim, it says, Vayisu mehar Adonai derech shloshi yamim, va'aron brit Adonai noseh lifnehem derech shloshi yamim lator lehem menucha. And it says they left the mountain of God for 3 days on their way marching towards Eretz Yisrael. And it says the Ramban, quoting a Midrash, we have it in the Yerushalmi, that how did they leave? You think, oh, it's good, we're leaving, we're going to Eretz Yisrael, but it says no, Vayisu mehar, they left from the mountain, and they learn over here that they didn't leave in the proper manner, and says the Yerushalmi, says the Midrash, that they left like children running away from school, or Ramban adds excited, happy to leave school. It's kind of like the end of the year, last day of school, the bell rings, everybody gets up, runs out of class because they don't want that summer homework. We just got 613 mitzvot, and it's like, okay, Hashem, enough. I don't need any more. We're running away. And it was a zilzul of the Torah. It was a belittling of the Torah, and the excitement, the happiness to run away from the kedusha. Ultimately, we're going to lead to these desires for meat and these desires for just non-spirituality. Basically, there's a bit of a deeper statement saying that there's a little bit too much kedusha right now, too much spirituality. Can we just relax and have a barbecue, not for the sake of kedusha? And you can look in deep ideas what's going on with the Ramban and the Yerushalmi, what's going on. But that would be the first sin, according to the Yerushalmi, that's now being broken up with these backwards nuns, with Vahibin Sa'aron, to break up the 3 sins of the Jewish people. But now, let's go back to the Gemara and give the second reason for why we have these backward nuns. Rabbi Omer, says Rabbi, Lo min Hashem hu zeh. No, I don't agree with the first approach, that it's in the wrong place. Ella, why do we have these backward nuns? Mipnei shesefer chashuvu b'fnei atzmo. Because these 2 pesukim, these 85 letters, are a separate book of the Torah. As Rabbi Shmuel Bar Nachman says the name of Rabbi Yonatan, and they quote a pasuk over here from Mishlei that says, wisdom, chokhmah, comes out of 7 pillars. Elu Shiva Sifrei Torah. These are the 7 books of the Torah. So says Rabbi in the second opinion that the reason for the backward nuns, the reason for these 2 pesukim is to bracket off these 2 pesukim in the book of Bamidbar to let you know that it's actually a different book of the Torah. We always know about the Hamishah Chumshei Torah, the 5 books of the Torah. Well, according to this opinion, there aren't 5 books of the Torah, but rather there are 7. There's Bereshit, there's Shmot, there's Vayikra, there's Bamidbar up until right before the backwards nun. Then there is Vayibin Sa'aron, which would be book number 5. And then there would be the pasuk right after those 2 pasukim, Perek Yud Aleph over here, chapter 11, the complaining section to the end of Bamidbar. That would be book number 6. And then book number 7 would be Devarim, 7 books of the Torah, just like the 7 pillars of wisdom that are spoken about in Mishlei. That's the opinion of Rabbi. So what in the world is going on over here? Vayibin Sa'aron, these 2 little pesukim, these 85 letters, are a separate book of the Torah. And if you want to get a little bit more mystical, a little more mysterious, the Midrash Tehillim says, Sefer ya b'fnei atzma v'nignaz. Says that this Midrash, it was a separate book of the Torah in and of itself, but then it got hidden away. We don't have the full Sefer anymore. So what's going on? So we've been saying since the beginning of Sefer Bamidbar, really we've been saying since the building of the Mishkan and all of Vayikra, that we're getting ready to enter the land of Israel. And there was a certain excitement that was starting up in the start of Bamidbar. And if we remember back in the beginning of the Perek, we mentioned the Sefer Nun in an earlier recording, when they were counting the people, Se'u et Rosh, said the Sefer Nun over there, L'sidram sheikantsu la'aretz miyad. They were getting ready to organize the people so we could enter the land of Israel right now, miyad, right away. We're ready to go. We want to enter the land of Israel. And if you look at this week's parasha, right before all the calamities take place, it says Moshe is trying to convince his father-in-law Yitro, stay with us and come with us, enter the land of Israel, because he tells him it's going to be good. And Moshe tells Yitro, Lecha itanu ve'etavnu lach, Ki Adonai diber tova Yisrael, come, it's going to be good for you. God spoke good to us. Yitro's like, no, I can't go. He says, no, al na tazov etanu, don't leave us, come with us. And he says, we're going to go to a place Hashem's going to do good stuff for us, let's go. And then it says, they start Vayisu mehar Adonai, they start their 3-day travel to enter the land of Israel. And according to here, it could be 3 days, maybe it would have been 11 days based on different sources, but we're about to enter the land of Israel. We were excited, but then it all changes. Because we know we're all going to mess up. Everything is going to get ruined. We're going to sin. In the very next pasuk, Vayisu mehar Adonai, we left the mountain of God, which we saw the Ramban, we saw the Yerushalmi, that said that they left like kids running away. They had the wrong attitude. Actually, if you look at the word mehar, you can read it as maher. Quickly, they were really running away, but not with the right intentions. And then we have the complaints of the complainers, and then we have the complaints of the meat. And then throughout the rest of the parasha, we're going to have problem after problem. We're going to have people in the camp giving nevuah, saying Moshe is going to die. We're going to have Miriam and Aharon speaking out against Moshe Rabbeinu. We're going to have the next week's parasha, the spies. We're going to have Korach's rebellion. We're going to end up being in the desert for 40 more years, and we don't make it. But right now, if you read the words of Moshe Rabbeinu, if you read the different commentators, we were about to enter the land of Israel. There was great excitement. But then we sinned. And then, right in the middle of those sins, early on, we have 2 pesukim, that the ark's going to travel, and God's going to fight our enemies. But if you look at those pesukim, the pesukim never happened. Vahi bin Soaron, Vayoam Moshe. And the ark is going to travel, and Moshe is going to say, Kuma Adonai, Vayatzfutzu oivecha. God, please, scatter away the enemies, have the sonecha run away from us. It's going to be a perfect battle in the land of Israel where God will conquer everything and we're going to win. And if you look over here at the Safarno, Vahi bin Saron, he says we're supposed to go take the ark Alech v'Kines l'Eretz Yisrael to enter the land of Israel. And God will have the enemies run away because he says if not for the Meraglim, we would have entered, everybody would have run away from us. All the Ummot will be borchim. They'd run. We wouldn't have to fight. It was supposed to be utopia. We're coming to the times of Mashiach. And Moshe Rabbeinu was going to lead us in with the Aron Kodesh. Everything was going to be great. But then we messed up. We sinned. And if you look at the Pesukim after we sinned, we see Moshe is devastated. He even says, God, it's too much for me. Kill me. It's actually very harsh language. Moshe basically seems to be giving up because he realizes at that point it's not going to happen. His dream, the dream of everybody to enter the land of Israel, build the Beit HaMikdash, bring Mashiach, wasn't going to happen anymore. So the question is, what are these 2 Pesukim? So I heard, and this is what Rabbi Khan says, and we see this from the second opinion of Rabbi in the Gemara, Vahi bin Soaron, the ark going in, Moshe calling out to God, and God killing our enemies. That's the book that could have happened. Or to say more specifically, that's the book that should have happened. We should have gone in, everything would have been perfect. This is the book of the Torah, of coming to the land of Israel with Moshe Rabbeinu. But it's also the book that will happen. Because it starts off, and the ark, and we're going to enter the land of Israel with the ark. Vahi bin Soaron, and Moshe will fight the enemies. The last pasuk is of this 2 pasukim. Uvanucha yomar. When the ark comes down, Shuva Adonai ravot alfei Yisrael. And when you put the ark down, we call out, God, bring back the Jewish people, bring back those myriads of Jews, those thousands and thousands of Jews. Come back to the land of Israel. Come back home with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This book of the Torah is the book that will be written, or that's maybe currently being written, that'll end off when we all come back to the land of Israel, Kibbutz Galuyot, with God dwelling amongst us in the land. That's the hidden book of the Torah that got nignaz, that got hidden. We only have 85 letters, but according to the Mekubalim, this is known as the Shaar Nun, as the 50th gate of wisdom, the Torah that will happen, the secrets that will come out, but they're going to come out slowly, and it will be revealed to us in the end of days when the book is written in completion, placed where it's supposed to be placed. Shabbat Shalom.